Welcome back. DNA from migrant children, some as young as 4 years old, is being stored by immigration authorities so they can track them if they commit future crimes. That's according to a new report by Wired. News Nation's Brooke Schaefer looked into the claims.
CBP says they're doing this to help secure the border and keep track of potential criminals trying to get into the U.S. But this is sparking some debate because some of the DNA they are reportedly collecting belongs to kids. The DNA Identification Act lets the government store DNA from criminals in CODIS, a national database. But in 2020, they started collecting DNA from migrants and putting that in CODIS too. And they recently quietly released records of this on CBP's website. According to a report from Georgetown Law Center for Privacy and Technology, in CODIS's first 2 decades, they had about 25,000 DNA profiles. Since 2020, they have added over 1.5 million, and they say that number could be as high as 2 million.
When we start talking about DNA, we're talking about some of the most sensitive information possible, and some of the most making us really vulnerable. And I think what's important for people to understand is that the risks are not just even to the people whose DNA is taken and placed into the system. Very quickly, the risk starts to redound to all of us.
When looking through some of this newly released data, the magazine Wired reports the U.S. government has collected DNA from at least 133,000 migrant kids and teenagers, including at least one 4-year-old. CBP, in response, says they collect DNA from CODIS for people who are arrested on federal charges and from aliens detained by CBP. Wired reports the Department of Justice is keeping the DNA on file in case that person commits a crime in the future. But the Georgetown Law Center for Privacy and Technology is at least one group wondering why they need to keep DNA from anyone, especially from minors. Brooke Schaefer, News Nation.